So I'm on here to talk about why I will never return back to working for other people. So yes, literally, I'm quitting my job. I'm quitting working for other people. So here's the thing. I am quitting my job. I am quitting working for people because in this day and time, if you don't have financial security, then it is not a good thing. And working for people is not having financial security. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that, and I'm keeping my eye on the time here. What I mean by that is that you can do so well. You can be very skilled at your job. You can be very skilled at, being a team player. You can also have the personality to be sociable and get along with, your team, your coworkers, should I say, or the people that are on your team at work. But it doesn't matter, because once you speak up for yourself, or once you are no longer liked, then you can really potentially lose your job. And so that is part of my story and a part of my history. It seems like every job that I get, there's always a situation where when they don't like you no more or anymore, you're no longer a part of the in crowd. And when you're no longer a part of the in crowd, and I'm talking about supervisory, people that are in supervisory roles, supervisors, managers, and people who are in between that have leadership roles. Once they don't like you anymore, then you're literally out of a job, and they do anything that they can to try and get you out of there. So I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. One story was, I used to work at Walmart. I used to work at Amazon. So I'm going to sort of kind of put those two stories together. And then I'm going to tell you about my most recent job. All right. So when I used to work at Walmart, let's start with Amazon. Amazon, I started working there around 2021, right after the pandemic. And with Amazon, they start off, treating you so nice, and, and making sure that, they have you feeling very comfortable with the establishment. But then somehow, some way, after you get in, maybe a month and a half later, you find yourself, feeling a little different. And what I mean by that is, with my experience, they welcome us with welcome arms, the crew that I did orientation with. And, everything was fine. Everything was great. The pay was great. I was making $20 an hour. After, I think it was 6 months, the pay went up to $1 and I think 25 cents. So I was making $21.25 an hour. And I used to work overnights. And so the overnight management, one day, one of the managers, the name began with an E, I won't call no names, she called me into the office with two other gentlemen. One of the gentlemen had a leadership role, but he was not getting really paid for it. And that's another thing that they do. They put you in leadership roles and they don't pay you for your worth. So they had him in there. His name begins with a T. So E brought myself, T, and another gentleman in the office. And now they didn't tell me this when I first started. So she was telling me that my, how can I put it? My productivity was very slow. I said, what do you mean? And she was saying that, your rate, and what she mean by that, she said, your rate is not where you need it to be. I said, what are you talking about? Because see, they never told me these things in the beginning. So she told me that there's something that we used to do where we used to go in these specific aisles, and you have to move really fast. So there's two positions they would give you generally. One is when you're working on the belt with a group of people and you're putting the stuff from the shelf. You're taking all the packages from the shelf and putting them onto the belt. Once you put them onto the belt will divide it will divide the packages into different locations, and it will slide down different routes on the belt. So we had sections A through E, or G through G, and G through I. And so that means that when the delivery guys pick them up, I'm getting a little bit off of my point, but the delivery guys pick them up, just to give you context of what I'm talking about. They will pick them up from the certain area within the warehouse, because it had gone on the belt, and the belt sent it to its proper location. The delivery guys would come, pick it up, and take it to those addresses. So that's that. Now, getting back to the office meeting. So she says, you're moving slow. I said, well, I never knew anything about this. What do you mean? She's like, yeah, you have to go really fast, and if you don't go fast, you're not gonna be able to meet your requirement for your rate. I said, well, what is this rate about? Oh, it has to be 6.0, something like that, she said. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I'm giving you like a ballpark figure. She said, right now you're at 2.4. I'm like, what? I'm like, I move really fast because I understand the establishment. And there's so many packages that come, especially during the holiday seasons, of course. You have to move fast. You're like a robot. And that's another thing. I don't suggest that anybody take a job like that if you're not in good health, if you're not a type of person who does labor work, who like to do labor, you're going to be like a robot. As a matter of fact, they have facilities that I'm being told that do actually have robots. And so, but in most facilities, especially the one that I was working at, they use human beings as robots. And so she was telling me, if you don't pick up your rate, I'm going to fire you. And I'm like, what? No one's ever spoken to me like that before. No one's ever treated me like that before. And so I didn't appreciate it. So I went to Human Resources, and I was like, what is this thing about a rate? I was never told this in orientation. We had a whole week of orientation. Even after being on the floor after 2 months, there's still nothing about a rate. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the office on the first, meeting, no warning before that, never even been made aware that I have to meet a certain quota in terms of a rate, a speed rate. It was never told me any of that. So at any rate, really what they did was they took her side. And so I called the corporate number, because there's a number you can call to complain about your supervisors or your managers. Well, they said they would do an investigation and get back to me. And the investigation, the results of the investigation was unfounded. In other words, they sided again with the manager. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to stay here a couple of months so I can pay my bills. After that, I'm out. So shortly thereafter, I got hurt because the box had fell on my knee, and I was really done, and I said, I'm out. So I left. Push forward, I took a job in between, because I'm a substitute teacher. Actually, my background is education, and that's the point of where I'm going to get to for this video. So I took a job at Walmart. Oh my God! I think I went from the frying pan to the fire. However, how you say it. From the fire to the frying pan, something like that. However, how you say it. In other words, it was worse, because at this particular Walmart, I'm in New Jersey, so if you can only imagine where all the Walmarts are, if you are a New Jerseyan, this particular Walmart was predominantly Hispanic workers and manager. There was one black manager, which I feel that he didn't really do his part, but anyway. So again, like Amazon, they started off well, welcoming you, treating you nice, making you feel comfortable, until they don't like you anymore. So they came to me off of a lie, called me in the office with my supervisor. Actually, he told me, he said, you work very well, and so I'm gonna put you over here. He said, I love the way you work, and you're very responsible. You work very well. So then I started off with a young lady who had orientation with me as well. We started together. This was now 2023, because I think I left Amazon in 2022. So I started a job with Walmart in 2023, gave them all that I could. They won't give you holidays off. They won't give you birthdays off. They won't give you really any days off. And with Walmart, they have something called points. If you don't come to work, you get what you garner what you call points. If you get a certain amount of points, I think they told me before it used to be 14. Well, they halved it now. I think over 7 points, you can potentially get fired. But you have to be careful with that because let's just say you decide you're gonna try to get 7 points because you just want to get out of there. They have to have a conversation with you. And first, I said, listen, whatever your name is, Charles, Sarah, whatever, look, you have 7 points. And I know you're a great worker, but I want you to do better. You've been calling out, and I don't really want to get rid of you because I really like you. I like your work ethic. So I'm going to give you a chance to really get it together and, bring those points down. So they'll give you a chance. But after a while, of course, if you continue to garner those points, then they essentially fire you. All right? So that's the system and the protocol of Walmart. But with my specific experience with them was that they kept calling me in the office off of lies. Now, I told you my supervisor told me that he really loved the way that I worked. But one day he called me in the office with another leader who has absolutely nothing to do with the type of work that I did. She was a cleanup supervisor. So she had a crew that cleaned the store up. He had her in the office with me. I said, what's going on? He said, listen, so-and-so came to me. Now, this is so-and-so. Remember, I told you I started orientation with another young lady, right? Well, they had put that young lady, again, I told you, they put people in leadership roles to make them feel important, but yet they don't get to pay for it. So I think maybe it was about a month, a duration of a month. This young lady that I started with, she kept watching me. And I said, why she keep watching me? And I said to myself, I know good and well they don't have her in one of those leadership roles. So she would keep watching me like we used to work like 4 days on. I think it was 4 days on and 2 days off, because they only give you like a 6-day work week or a 5-day work week. So I would work 4 days on, have 2 days off, then go back. So I would work Sunday through Thursday. All right. And I have Monday and Tuesday off. I think that's how I did it. So then I said Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I work 5 days. All right. And I'll have 2 days off. The bottom line is I work 5 days and I have 2 days off. So, I brushed it off. She kept watching me. And the next time I came to work, she kept watching me again. Me and her, we had a great relationship until before she kept watching me, we got into like a little disagreement because of the prejudice, because she's Dominican. I'm, of course, African American, and the store is predominantly Hispanic, and they favor the Hispanics. And there may have been another 5 to 6 people that are black that worked there, but the whole crew was predominantly Hispanic, including management, again, besides the one manager I told you that was black. So she and I had like a little disagreement because we were in the cafeteria one time. Well, it's not a cafeteria, but we were in the room where we eat lunch, okay? And we went to heat up our food, and a Dominican worker and 3 Hispanic people came sitting at our table. Now, they know somebody was sitting there because we had our drinks there, our sodas, and our lunch bags. But they decided they would go ahead and take over our table. So I asked them kindly if we can, remain here at our seats. I approached it very much with wisdom. I didn't want it to blow up. So I said, we were sitting here, if you don't mind. So they didn't want to move. So then I said, well, you can see our sodas, you can see our stuff here. These are our things. and we just went to heat up our food. So one of the young ladies, she looked at the other three, because it was four of them. She's Hispanic, one was Dominican, and the other two were Hispanic. They were very prejudiced, by the way. She said, come on, guys. She can see the sincerity in me and how I approach it. So she was like, come on, guys, let's move. They refused to move. She said, come on, guys. So she really basically encouraged them to move, so they move. So then after that, that Dominican young lady asked my friend who I started orientation with to help her. She was really swamped that night. And she said, I need your help after they mistreated us. So the way that she was like, the person, that Dominican person that I started with, was like, she wanted to be in the in crowd. So she went and helped a young lady that mistreated us. So we talked about it, and I said, well, you're not obligated to prove anything to anybody. The way they treated us, that was very nervy of her to even ask you. She got mad at me because of that, because I said that. But the bottom line is, after that, they kept calling me in the office. After that, I told them, look, you keep calling me in the office off of false accusations. There is no proof of what you're saying, other than the fact that you have people watching me, somebody who's on my level and who started with me. And as far as I know, she's not my direct supervisor, but yet she's reporting things to you. So do you have her watching me? Oh, no. So then what is the problem? I'm doing my job, right? Yes. You told me before you loved the way I work. Yeah, I did. So what is the issue? Well, you're not moving fast enough. They did what I call, they pulled a Walmart. They pulled an Amazon. So they said, I need you to move a little quicker, but I've always worked this pace and you never had a problem with it. And what not at Walmart, they didn't have like this speed thing as they had. When I used to work in Amazon, they had an actual speed rate after talking to human resources there. They had an actual thing for a speed rate, but Walmart did not. So, but they're telling me that after working there for 4 or 5 months, then, oh, you need to move quicker. Really? Okay. But you never said that before. You said you love my work and you love the way that I work. So those were my one situation with 2 jobs. Now, the other situation, because I'm getting ready to get to the point of why I will never work for anybody else again. I'm getting ready to become my own owner. And I'm going to come with another video on that, but I'm getting ready to open my preschool. I told you before, earlier in this video, my background is education. I've been doing it for about 30 years now, actually over 30 years. So I took a job, a friend of mine, when I was on unemployment back in the summertime, this past 2024. Today is January 14, 2025. So not too long ago, I took a job last January at a local school, a public school, my first time ever working for an actual public school. So I was teaching kids with autism, right? I wound up getting hurt. I'm not gonna tell the whole details. One of my students, who was kind of on the aggressive side, he caused me an injury. I had to wind up having surgery, okay? And after that, it was all downhill. My job called me while I was on recovery from surgery, wanting me to do some work while home recovering from surgery. I kindly told them that I will resume all work duties upon my return back to work. They didn't like that. I talked to my doctor. I was at my doctor once when my supervisor, my direct supervisor, had texted me asking me to do work after I turned him down the first time. Then he tried it again. So he tried it about 3 times. When I returned to work, I went to talk to the principal about it. And she got very indignant and told me, I think the world revolves around me. Really? Because I got hurt on your facility and that's another thing. They never got me the proper amount of help that I need. I just said some minutes ago that I was working with kids with autism. I only had 2 adults in that class, but I needed more than that. Why? Because at least 3 of the students were supposed to have their own particular what they call ABA specialists. That means that they're behavior specialists. They're there to help redirect them with their behavior. And another, so I had two aides, but they were just aides for the classroom. They were not actual ABA specialists for the children. And the ratio to autism children have to be just that. So they're supposed to have, because their IEP, if their IEP say they're supposed to have something, then they're supposed to have that. So they didn't give me the proper help. I went to them about it. They never did. So I wound up getting hurt. Push forward. They wanted me to do work after recovery from surgery. I told them kindly, my doctor's orders, I'm not allowed to work at this moment. I'm recovering from my surgery. So when I returned back to work and had a talk with the principal, she got indignant, telling me, I think the world revolves around me. No, I think y'all think the world revolves around you, because you're asking me to work knowing I just got hurt and knowing I just had surgery and I'm recovering from surgery and knowing I sent you a letter telling you when I'm returning. So because when they see that you're like a kind person and you really love the children, they think they can get you to do stuff even though you're home on medical leave. So I'm getting ready to end the video because I don't want to go. I really went above the 20 minutes that I was not trying to go above. But at any rate, so when it was time for them to redo the contracts for the up and coming school year before we went on summer break, they did not renew my contract. Why? Because, by the way, this supervisor at this school, this supervisor pulled a Walmart. So Walmart pulled an Amazon, and the school that I worked at pulled in Walmart. What I mean by that is that the supervisor was telling me, I never have to worry about you. I have to check in other classrooms, but with you, you give me peace in the day and comfort knowing that you're always on your job doing what you need to do, even when I'm not looking, when no one else is around. I love your work ethic, blah, 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 pull the Walmart. But because I said no while on medical leave to doing work, they got upset with me. So when it was time to renew contracts, I'm out of a job. Now, I'm out of a job, 3 jobs back to back. And I didn't even tell you my whole life story of other job history, bad history that I had with other jobs. But I'm just giving you the most recent. So I began to look at things and put it in a perspective. I was like, okay, God, what is going on with my life? Why is this always happening? When I get a job, I don't ever keep the job. I'm very responsible, but when I get a job, and so God was showing me, it's time to quit these jobs. It's time to become your own boss. It is time for you to do your own thing, because sometimes God allows things to happen to get you to move. He'll put fire under your feet to get you to do what he knows that's what's inside of you. And some of us are not even, we don't even have the makeup to be on these jobs, see? Because why? You are a boss. Why? You are an entrepreneur. You are an independent person. And so I've decided, even though right now, as we speak, or as I speak to you in this video that you may be watching the playback on, I am totally without income, and I'm getting ready. I was on unemployment, and it just ran out early part of this month. And I don't like telling my business like that, but just to bring context to this video, I am quitting all jobs working for people. Why? Because it is not worth it. Why is it not worth it? It's not worth it because of the stress level. 2, it's not worth it because of all the time you have to put in. 3, it's not worth it because you never get paid your value, which you never get paid your value on any job. But at least if I'm going to work as hard as I am, give me as much as possible. Number 4, no matter what you do, your best is not good enough. And 5, don't do anything they don't like. They're going to not like you, even though they told you that you're great in the beginning. Don't rub them the wrong way, should I say? Then they don't like you anymore. As a matter of fact, they put lies on my name, and it came back to me from another leader. So one leader told another leader, did you know they said this about Miss B? What? No, that's my friend. I got her this job, by the way. I told you, I think I said it earlier. A teacher friend of mine got me this job. So another leader told her, and my friend has a leadership role on this job. One leader told her they were talking about me in a bad way, and She was like, wow, that's not her at all. She's like, exactly. So, but they put false accusations on my name. And when it was time for them to renew my contract for the summer and for the coming year, they refused to. Why? Because they didn't like me anymore because I didn't beat to their drum, right? I didn't dance to the beat of their drums, so to speak. So I want to encourage every entrepreneur, if you're feeling like this thing in your gut, if you're feeling this thing like every time you get up to go to work, you're dreadful. It's like a dreadful feeling. If you're feeling this thing like every single time you get ready to prepare to go to work, and even in your sleep, it's like you don't even have peace. You don't rest. If there's not a peace about the job or any job that you've ever had, if you're feeling like this thing in your gut, like, I need to start my own, or I'm not happy here, I encourage you to start your own business or businesses. Teachers, I understand. I've been there and done it. Teaching has become too political. And they don't play fair. The ones at the top echelon, they get the higher pays, and the ones in between, they get the next highest pays. But the teachers are on the low podium when it comes to totem pole. There we go. When it comes to the type of compensation that we're deserving of. We do all the work. We take our money, we spend it on the children, and we spend it on this, and we spend it on materials, and we spend it on that. But we get the lowest pay, and it is not fair. And I promise myself, I am not putting myself through that again. I have another teacher friend to this day. She keeps calling me. We started in that same month, January, and she knew what they put me through, but she returned back to the job, and she calls me every day. And I had to kindly tell her, listen, I left there. I'm done. That chapter of my life is over. I encourage you, if you're not happy there, to either start your own thing or to just move on. And whenever we talk, if we can find other topics to talk about, because I don't want to get that in my spirit. I'm no longer there. That's history. That's behind me. If you're not happy there, quit your job, And I want to encourage you, if you're not happy with your job, quit your job. Maybe start a YouTube channel. I don't know. Maybe start something new. But obviously, you need to have a peace about your life. We're in the year 2025. I encourage you to start your own. I encourage you, if you're not happy, move forward. If you're not happy, move on. Start your own business. All right. That's what I wanted to say today. This is my first video. Peace. I'm out. God bless you.